Hello and welcome to the F1 Esports Pro Series presented by Aramco. You join us where we're getting ready for the third race of Event 2, the Austrian Grand Prix. However, we've already had two thrilling races which have provided plenty of fireworks. We're back here in the brilliant Gfinity Arena in London.
Battle for the lead, and it's going to be resolved in favour of Freddie Rasmussen. Lights go on, lights out in Montreal. Around the outside and taking the position. Can't do anything about that, but he can take the lead on the penultimate lap. Jarno Opmeer wins again in the Pro Series.
Now, he's already laughing at me for the way I said fireworks there. Joining me on the desk tonight is Nick Hamilton. Nick, I tell you what, great to have you back on the desk with me. But you know what? It's an easy job when the quality of races are as good as that we just saw.
Yeah, I mean, they're amazing, aren't they? I always say they're robots. They don't make any mistakes. They're so close when it comes to wheel-to-wheel action and also lap time. But Tom, you do a fantastic job as well, so you make my job a lot easier.
Oh, you're too kind, Nick. Listen, if you were with us yesterday, you will know that unfortunately Natalie Pinkham is currently at home self-isolating, but she was desperate to be involved this evening, and here she is. Natalie, good evening. How are you doing?
I'm great. It's lovely to be with you virtually. I mean, you know, it's as good as it gets, but we're all good. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, big shoes to fill. I can't wait until you're actually back here in the Gfinity Arena. What did you make of the racing yesterday, Zandvoort and Canada?
We were treated to some fantastic racing, weren't they? A couple of standout names, obviously Jarno Opmeer and Freddie Rasmussen putting in some cracking performances. 1-2 in Canada and 1-2 in the championship as a result. Obviously also 1-2 at the previous race in Holland, but the other way around. Another name that definitely stood out for us, though, is the newbie, Danny Moreno, the rookie, doing a fantastic job in P5 there and winning that much-loved accolade from Matt Gallagher of Driver of the Day. It's the one they all want to get.
It is indeed. He was a bit unsure which driver to give it to, but Danny Moreno was the driver in the end. And Nick, it's not easy because that McLaren team, all debut drivers going into this competition, but they seem to be just coming into their stride now.
Yeah, we knew it was just going to be a matter of time, didn't we? They have a lot of talent, a lot of pace. And as I said, a matter of time. They look like they're getting stronger and stronger as the races go on. And it's great for Danny Moreno to get his first top 5.
Yeah, now, Natalie, getting back to it, tonight, obviously, we have the Austrian Grand Prix. Do you imagine it's going to be another Jarno Opmeer, Freddie Rasmussen, 1 and 2, potentially?
Well, it's difficult to bet against them at the moment. They're in such a rich vein of form, both of them fighting it out. And I think when you do get into that groove, it's difficult for other people to disrupt you. Having said that, there's such small margins between all of the races up and down the grid. But the Red Bull Ring, I have to say, is a fantastic circuit. It's a tough one, though. Don't be mistaken into thinking that because it's short, it's easy. It's really tricky. The undulations up in turns 1, 3 and 4 make it very difficult, the change in camber. So it's a hard circuit to get right. It's a circuit where people can make mistakes pretty easily. So it will separate the good from the great.
Okay, I love that. Natalie, we'll be catching up with you a little bit later on in the show. And I'm loving the poster in the background, Monaco there. It looks resplendent. Look at that. Beautiful work, Natalie. We'll catch up with you in a bit. Nick, you've got to agree with Natalie, though. It is going to sort the good from the great, isn't it, tonight?
Yeah, it's all about who can be strongest on the brakes, especially into turn 2. And it's all about that... the exit as well from the first corner. There's a lot of back straights, long straights, I mean, sorry. So DRS is very important and using your battery to good effect.
Okay, I can't wait for it. Now, of course, we aren't allowed fans into the studio this season, but we would still love to hear from you. Get over to Twitter and give us your comments and questions using the hashtag F1 Esports, and we'll do our best to work through as many as we can at the end of the show tonight. Loads more to look forward to before then, though. We still have live racing from the Red Bull Ring in Austria, but let's catch up with what happened yesterday, beginning with the first ever running of Zandvoort. Your commentators were Alex Jakes and Matt Gallagher.
5 red lights on, they go out, and we are racing for the 4th time in this esports season. Good drag down to turn number 1 for the pole sitter, who maintains the lead for the moment. They make their way through Tarzan corner, and then it is very, very important that you get the temperature of the tyres in the window, because look at how easy it is to run wide with this banked corner. Exactly what Freddie Rasmussen needed, though. He has got the jump and converted pole position to the race lead ahead of Jarno Opmeer. Then it's Longe and Kiefer maintaining position for the top four, the top five. A wide moment there in the background for Longe. It's going to leave him vulnerable. It's going to get him passed by Marcel Kiefer, who is up to third position.
Crucial mistake from Longe there. There was also a bit of contact between Donoso and Caraton going down towards turn one, and we can see there's differing strategies here. I think the two Renaults are both on mediums, and Donoso is struggling. Torm's now going to try round the outside towards this right-hander.
We are on lap number 3, and that means that DRS is going to be his friend at the next time he goes to those corners, as long as he can crucially keep within that 1 second window. So this lap is so important for both Rasmussen and Opmeer. So Renault now find themselves third and fourth with Longe and Donoso on that alternative strategy, and the top two pit then. Opmeer in for a straight pit stop race along with Rasmussen. Renault go 1 and 2 on the road with Longe and then Donoso, and then the cars back out onto the circuit. As we would expect, Jarno Opmeer.
There's Marcel Kiefer.
Oh, is he going to go past? Is he going to sweep around the outside of all three of them? Very, very close indeed. Marcel Kiefer's going to get past his teammate, but not quite past Jarno Opmeer, who hangs on to that oh-so-crucial track position. Look at the gap between these two. For so long, Jarno Opmeer has been racing.
Oh, this could be close.
Rasmussen in his mirrors, and he's really having to defend for the first time all race. The battle for the lead. It's going to be resolved in favour of Freddie Rasmussen. He's had one clear-cut opportunity and he's taken it. He's got the lead on the penultimate lap of the race.
You can see Freddie Rasmussen just got tucked into his slipstream of Jarno Opmeer and just flew past. It was easy pickings for Freddie Rasmussen, who takes the lead. Was he biding his time this entire time? Did he not want to lead this race? Maybe he was just saving some of his energy so he could deploy it all there and then take the lead. And he is now extending his margin out in front. Can Marcel Kiefer do anything in the second Red Bull? Rasmussen looking good. Marcel Kiefer, if anything, closing in on the Alfa Romeo. Could he get a Red Bull 1-2 right at the death? It's going to have to be a pretty audacious move.
Jarno Opmeer has worked so long. He's got to be careful that the disappointment of losing out on a home win is not too much for him. He's got to keep things tidy, but he's very nearly there. Another podium for the Dutch driver. Freddie Rasmussen has done the job today. It has been a very strong performance from who finds himself very close to the finish now. Here he comes. Freddie Rasmussen comes out of the banking. And for the first time this year, it will be victory. Freddie Rasmussen wins at Zandvoort. A superb victory ahead of still championship leader Jarno Opmeer.
Come on, guys. Good result.
Good job. Good job,
Nice
Freddie.
execution, nice patience. Everything well executed. Very good.
There you go, the Iceman, Freddie Rasmussen, holding off Jarno Opmeer for his first win of 2020 to pick up the 25 points. It was a good event for Red Bull, with Marcel Kiefer taking the final podium spot. Joni Tomala picked up good points once again, finishing in 4th. Enzo Benito took the final point ahead of teammate David Tanitsa in 11th. And it was another disappointing race for Danny Berezny, who could only manage 12th. So, a very exciting race. It got us off to a great start. You know, Cedric Tomé, the 2019 champion, got the fastest lap, but no points for that Haas team. It only took one opportunity for Rasmussen to overtake Opmeer, and that's how close these races are.
Yeah, especially down the front straight. It was all about that DRS, wasn't it? This was, where are we now? This is Jarno Opmeer. Yeah, Opmeer taking the lead. So this is what I mean about this front straight, using the DRS to good effect. And in this case, it didn't really mean Opmeer had to do too much on the brakes. It was pretty much done before he got to the corner. But then a carbon copy overtake from Rasmussen, getting the job done with only one lap to go. And it's, yeah, pretty perfect and a good result for the team.
Yeah, and as Matt Gallagher alluded to in the commentary, and so did Alex, about saving that battery to know what he could do on those straights and just conserving energy. They both pitted at the same time. It was an extraordinary battle. What did you make of Longuet, the Renault driver, as has been nicknamed the long way? He sort of got off to a bad start, made one mistake. It's just coming up here. What happened to him?
Yeah, he dropped a wheel, didn't he? Went a little bit wide, and that cost him a position pretty quickly. But you can see he got the pace. He came back. He used his soft tyres to great effect, getting underneath Moreno there, and then set a great move up against Brendan Lee. This battle went all the way through Sector 1. They were side by side. Look, banging wheels, basically. so close. But yeah, using those soft tyres to good effect, as I was saying, and gets a really good exit, getting the job done. And Brendan Lee had to settle there.
Yeah, Matt Gallagher coined the expression Nicholas Longway. That's how he got back into the race. He's actually changed that now on his Twitter. Are you going to call him Nicholas Longway?
I would definitely call him Long Way.
Okay, perfect. Listen, defending champion David Tanitsa once again struggled after a poor qualification in Zandvoort, but just as with Vietnam last time out, he produced a stunning return to form to take pole position in Montreal. Could he convert that into another win?
Lights out in Montreal. They leave the grid with David Tanitsa trying to hold off Jarno Opmeer, trying to turn the outside line into the inside. That's always a risk into turn number 2. And the Alfa Romeo driver immediately takes the lead. Championship leader out front, Tanitsa down to second. Our race winner a few moments ago, Freddie Rasmussen in third, and then losing a position. Off the line, Bianco Lila there as we check in with the predicted pit stop strategy at the bottom of your field. Danny Beresne needs a result, and he is moving up to 4th position. He's taking Marcel Kiefer with him further back. They run side by side. Kiefer has the momentum and has 4th for the time being. Beresne down to 5th. Not the getaway Bianco Lila needed. Nicholas Longuet's got past Brendan Lee.
So Jarno Opmeer is so good on this alternate strategy. Tanitsa goes defensive.
Oh, he's put a wheel on the grass, and that's going to cost him so much momentum. But he was trying to really pull an audacious move on Tanitsa with that tyre compound advantage. Thought he would have lost more there to Marcel Kiefer, but if anything, he's right back in the wheel tracks and hunting down the 2nd place driver. Last year's champion chasing this year's championship leader, and a multiple race winner behind in P3. Clearly the fastest of all 3 of them right now.
Yeah, that was touch and go into that hairpin between Rasmussen and Tanitsa. Tanitsa squeezing, Rasmussen maybe not really understanding how much he was just swaying out to the left-hand side, dipping a wheel onto the grass and just losing all that grip. But he went wide and managed to somehow do the undercut and got a decent run out of there. So he's still in P3, but this is always time lost. The medium runners of Opmeer and Tanitsa, they're basically just holding up this train for as long as they possibly can. Then they go on the attack later on in the race. And into the pits now. Let's see where he comes out. This is going to be very tight indeed between Kiefer, Longuet and Beresne.
Will really be the difference between the in-laps and the out-laps. And you can see the Alfa Romeo is at full speed. And Danny Beresne, he went aggressive, but we've got a different exit here of the pits. Oh, it's so close, and he's just got out ahead. Freddie Rasmussen just beats Danny Beresne to the turn that you saw earlier where Hamilton and Vettel were separated by absolutely nothing. Wasn't that much more between Rasmussen and Beresne. That is so important for Freddie Rasmussen if he wants to make it 2 wins in a row.
There's a lot of work for these drivers to do. Tanitsa's coming out in 10th, 11th position.
Now he might gain some more on the exit of the corner.
Indeed
It does, and straight up to 9th. That's you lose a bit and then you gain it back. Choose the exit here in Montreal, but lot of drivers to pick off. As you point out, Matt, David Tanitsa, he's got Soltung, Bianco Lila, and then Kiefer, Longuet, Beresne, and then Freddie Rasmussen. If you're not looking at the Red Bull like I was going down the pits, expecting it to be Freddie Rasmussen, it was Marcel Kiefer. So Red Bull have a 2nd car in play that maybe they can deploy. This is going to be great though, because we're going to see the drivers on the opposite strategy being picked off, you would assume, for David Tanitsa. At least that is what last year's champion is hoping, and he's immediately getting the work.
game on. This is about to get very spicy.
There it
indeed,
is.
Mr. Jakes. This is going to come down to the wire. Tanitsa's on full attack. Otmir going on a completely different strategy in terms of going longer on the mediums, and then he will be on full attack. He could come out at around 10th, 9th, 10th position, Mr. Otmir. So this is going to... I don't know who's going to win. I genuinely don't, and I love it. And Otmir still hasn't come into the pits. Does he know that he's got to change tyres? He's continuing on. He's only 9.7 seconds ahead of Rasmussen. This must be a masterstroke from Alfa Romeo. Jarno Otmir is going to be El Rapido in these next 8 laps or so as Tanitsa looks to the inside.
He's going to get the move done this time, surely. So late on the brakes, Danny Perezne. Been saying that he's going to get the move done for a while now, and still he's ahead. Here's his teammate, race leader for 17 laps. He took P1 at the second corner of the race, and here is David Tanitsa, then still behind the Alfa Romeo, who has been able to play the team game for his rival. Freddie Rasmussen, meanwhile, into the lead of the race, and Nicolas Longuet now in second. Danny Perezne is third, but for how much longer? Whatever he is doing, he's going to be very popular with his Alfa Romeo team.
Rasmussen's had an epic stint, it has to be said, on those mediums, gapping his rivals beautifully on the same strategy. I think Otmir is looking like the person in the pound seats at the moment. If he can get past Tanitsa, he's practically pushing him round the first couple of corners. He's got 3 seconds to make up to Rasmussen, 3 laps to go.
Oh, come on, David. David bounces off the wall. Oh, no, they come together. The two rivals
He's upside down.
As a massive crash for David Tanitsa, who had done brilliantly to make his way up the order, but he's come together with Jarno Otmir to give Freddie Rasmussen a breathing opportunity out front. But Otmir trying to make use of that extraordinary pace that he had, coming together, and right now it has ruined the race for David Tanitsa, who is down to 6th position. We are going to be heading to the 25th and final lap, with the race lead being debated once again. What has Rasmussen got in terms of defensive driving? Whatever he's got, he needs to use it right about now, because Jarno Otmir, surely under investigation, can't do anything about that, but he can take the lead on the penultimate lap, beaten by Rasmussen at Zandvoort. He goes ahead of his rival as he starts the final lap in 1st position. Otmir took on the difficult strategy, made it work, and seized the checkered flag first. Jarno Otmir wins again in the Pro Series.
Jarno Otmir picking up his 3rd win of the season ahead of Freddie Rasmussen, who did well to back up his victory in Zandvoort, and Marcel Kiefer again getting a podium finish. Danny Moreno had his best ever finish in the Pro Series in 5th, as McLaren's shadow continued to improve. Mercedes, meanwhile, really finding things tough this season. Bono Huis and Brendan Lee down 16th and 17th respectively. David Tanitsa unfortunate to miss out on any points after that collision with Jarno Otmir. Turning our attentions to the driver's standings then, after 5 races show Jarno Otmir sitting pretty at the top on 108 points. Red Bull drivers Freddie Rasmussen and Marcel Kiefer find themselves tied on 71, with Nicolas Longuet back on 50. I do apologize, Nicolas Longway. Former champions Brendan Lee and David Tanitsa currently down in 7th and 8th. And in the team standings, and it's beginning to look like a 2-horse race between Alfa Romeo and Red Bull. Just 3 points separate the top 2. But Renault now find themselves way back on 55 points, leading a congested midfield. Haas have just 4 points to show for their efforts so far this season. However, I am very confident, Nick, I'm very confident that Simon Weigang is going to deliver tonight. Mark my words. But listen, we've got to talk about it. Tanitsa and Jarno Otmir, that collision, it was so unfortunate. The FDA Hublot team said it was a visualization issues for Jarno Otmir. He just couldn't see him in the game. It's a glitch that is there, it happens, and it's so unfortunate.
Yeah, what a shame. Apparently the team were telling Jarno Otmir to stay to the left, but he said it wasn't even in his game. So he took the corner, he took his line, and unfortunately, yeah, it made David Tanitsa very frustrated and meant that he didn't score any points.
Yeah, it's so frustrating for him because he's just coming back into this championship. He is the current champ. Jarno Opmeer had done the tactics of going from mediums to softs, but he had to say this. Won the last race. I'm sorry to David Tinitzer, as he simply wasn't on my screen from the start of the race. On to tomorrow for Austria. David Tinitzer has to pick himself up. However, showing real pace out there to do all of that overtaking, and it was a great strategy from him to move from mediums to softs.
Yeah, he pitted 4 laps earlier than Jarno Opmeer. So at this point, he was, the fastest man on the circuit, going past all the guys that had the medium tyre at the time, showing his class, not making any mistakes in terms of his overtakes and doing a really, really good job, getting super close to people, really late on the brakes, utilising that grip that he had available on the soft tyre.
We've said it so many times, it's all about qualifying. It really does help. If you're down way back in the grid, it isn't going to help someone like David Tinitzer. He got caught out in the first race in Bahrain, actually got bumped off the track. So for him, he was going to prove how good he is at that moment. But Jarno Opmeer pitted later, had fresher tyres, and you would have thought he would have probably overtaken David Tinitzer in the end anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Jarno Opmeer seems to do this a lot. He did the same thing in Shanghai. He's done the same here in Canada, and I thought it was a little bit too late. Maybe he gives himself a lot of work to do towards the end of the race. But yeah, he had so much pace, didn't he? And all of these drivers around him, they had really old mediums, and he was on a fresh set of softs and making moves like they were just standing still. It was incredible, really, really showing his class. But yeah, maybe he would have been too fast to get past David Tinitzer. I don't think Tinitzer would have had the grip available because he had 4-lap older tyres than Jarno. But yeah, it was a shame how it ended.
But it would have been nice. It would have been great for us fans to have watched that battle with Freddie Rasmussen. He has been cool, calm and collected. Got that win in Zandvoort, his first of 2020. And he may have been able to hold on to that lead. But he's impressed everyone, hasn't he?
Completely, yeah. He really made this this final stint work for him. He was just steady, really, really consistent, didn't make any mistakes, and he was driving away whilst these guys behind him were busy defending from Tinitzer and the likes of Opmeer. But yeah, he did a really good job, and I think he'll be very impressed and happy with his progress so far this season.
And I mentioned it, Marcel Kiefer and Freddie Rasmussen, both on the same points in terms of the Drivers' Championship. Is there going to be a little bit of rivalry between those two drivers now? Who's going to edge away?
I mean, it's good to have that rivalry. It pushes the team. It pushes each driver forward. But it is a team game at the same time. So as long as they get good points for the team, which they did in Canada, I think everyone will be happy.
Okay, fantastic work, Nick. Listen, that's 2 races behind us now. We are moving on to the Austrian Grand Prix. We'll have all of the build-up after we take a quick break. All right then, welcome back to the F1 Esports Pro Series, where we are minutes away from our third race of Event 2 in Austria. It's one that has provided plenty of entertainment over the years, as Natalie Pinkham will explain.
Nestled in the stunning Styrian Hills, the Red Bull Ring never fails to deliver when it comes to Formula One drama. It hosted not one, but two thrilling races to kick off the 2020 season. It's a short track, just over 4 kilometres long, with 10 turns, but it always packs a punch when it comes to exciting overtakes.
All right, this is game on.
Tell you what, he's going wheel to wheel here.
Normally awash with orange, as the Dutch fans make the short journey to support their hero Max Verstappen. And in 2019, they were in for a real treat, because at turn 3, with just 2 laps to go and Charles Leclerc leading the race, Max Verstappen banged wheels with the Ferrari driver to take the lead and the checkered flag. And in that moment started an incredible competition between these two young, very talented drivers that we will hopefully enjoy for many years to come. The 2019 Pro Series also saw Red Bull and Ferrari battle it out at the Red Bull Ring, with David Tonitza beating Freddie Rasmussen on his way to taking the title. With so much talent in this year's Pro Series, expect plenty of drama tonight. Who will take the win? Can't wait to find out.
Thank you very much, Natalie. How close did you get to the screen to explain everything? We will be hearing from Natalie in a bit. Nick, let's talk about it then. Natalie has set it up perfectly. What can we expect and what makes it so exciting on this circuit?
Well, firstly, qualifying was so close, wasn't it? Q1, the whole field was separated by like 0.2 of a second, so I'm expecting a really close battle. As I said before, there's a lot of long straights, DRS opportunities, which makes overtaking a really good potential. So hopefully we'll see a lot of overtaking and really close racing.
Okay then, so what does it take, people at home who might be not familiar with the Austrian circuit, what does it take for a driver to succeed?
Well, firstly here, it's all about track limits. The drivers are going to be very, very strict on where they place the car placement, on exit and entry to corners. Some drivers have been struggling with that through qualifying. And then I would say braking, as in out-braking your rival into the hairpins and getting good exit speed to maximise your opportunity down the straights.
Now, I feel like I've had a bit of a kiss of death at times. I've been talking about certain drivers, how well they've been doing, particularly Joni Tormala. When we look back at the qualification today, it doesn't help him. He doesn't particularly like this circuit, does he?
Yeah, when we spoke to him, he did say he doesn't like circuits where track limits is really key. Because he struggles to really place the car where it needs to be. So he left a little bit of time on the table, and more time than he thought that he was going to leave. He ended up leaving a 10th, is what he said, and a 10th would have put him, at that time, would have put him like P5, but he didn't even make Q2.
Yeah, watch out for Joni Tormala tonight, because he has scored points in every single race so far. Moving on though to Donoso, he's had some brake issues in the last race, but what do we find, what do we see from Ritz?
Donoso is really improving. I think he's there or thereabouts. A lot of the time you see he wears his heart on his sleeve, really upset by his performance there, but hopefully he'll be getting stronger as the race goes on.
And David Tonitza here, locking up and only manages 8th in Q3. Would that last race still be on his mind?
No, I mean, you've got to put that to the back of his mind, but he'd be very upset with his performance there. P8 is somewhere that he's not used to, usually starting at the front of the pack.
Okay, and then when we have Alvaro Carreton here, someone the Williams team has been chopping and changing. Now, there must be a reason for that. Michael Romanides, the youngest driver on our grid. But then Alvaro Carreton performed so well during lockdown, and we had the virtual Grand Prix and the Pro Exhibition. He is excited to be on top in P1 again, on pole.
Yeah, he's the only driver in the 101s. Got the job done and really showed Williams that he could lead the team. You know, keep me in the seat, stop changing me in and out, and I can get the job done. And I'm really impressed with Jarno Opmeer as well. He was down in like P6, P7 at the time, and has put himself on the front row to start the race.
Is that like a confidence thing for the driver? I mean, Alvaro Carreton said, I've watched his tweets that he's been posting, and he's sort of been saying, you know, listen, I haven't been quite up to speed. It's challenging. But at the same time, Jarno Opmeer just saves the best. He's so confident at the moment. He feels like he can do anything.
Yeah, almost like he's invincible, right? And everything he touches turns to gold. But it's a great starting grid, I would say. Simon Weigand doing a really good job in P5 there. Nicholas Longley, there or thereabouts, always in P6. Danny Beresnay and Brendan Lee doing a good job, I'd say. Beresnay needs to, I would say, improve his game slightly to impress himself and be happy with himself. Tanitsa down in P9 will not be happy. And Lucas Blakely on the edge and the fringes of the top 10. It'll be great to see him move forward in the race.
Yeah, Danny Beresnay said he had every opportunity to perform and he failed to do that, making a few changes in preparation. Hopefully he'll be more competitive. Manuel Biancolila finishing very well in the last race. And obviously down there, Matthias Colligan makes his debut for McLaren. He'll be hoping, I mean, it would be an incredible race for him to get up into the points, but best of luck to him. And Joni Tormala in 17th, as I mentioned, has scored points in every single race. How difficult is it, Nick? Put it into perspective for people to go from 17th to make it up to at least get maybe 1 point.
Well, we've seen the likes of Tonitsa and Beresnay in that position, and we were expecting them to make leaps and bounds in the races, but they struggled. But when we spoke to Tormala, he was very confident that he'd be able to get some points, so it'd be really good for him to end up in the top 10.
And is this a race where we could potentially see someone like Brendan Lee finally delivering and maybe getting a podium? It's possible, obviously, I know, but in terms of how he's performed so far.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Brendan Lee hasn't delivered. You know, he's been very, very consistent. He's been there or thereabouts all of the time, and it's only half a tenth, and he would be, you know, right in the money seat. But it would be really good to see Brendan Lee in the top 3 at least.
Okay, well, listen, while we wait to get the race underway at the Austrian Grand Prix, which I'm very excited for, and I'm sure you are as well, Natalie Pinkham, I would like to welcome you back to the Gfinity Arena virtually. Natalie, what did you make of that qualifying?
Do you notice that I'm leaning right back for this bit? Not too close to the camera. And it was great, wasn't it? As Nick says, so tight. And good to see Brendan Lee, as you say, putting it in P7. Look, I think that this is a race, as I've mentioned before, where mistakes are punished. It's easy to make them. It's a tricky track. There's a big emphasis on being confident on your brakes. It's about picking the right line through the middle sectors of turns 5 and 6, and emphasis on a good front end as well. I think confidence will be rewarded, and hopefully we'll see some great racing.
Yeah, in the last race in Canada, Natalie, Simon Weigand was in P7 and didn't finish the race. Today, he steps back again when that may have got to him a little bit. He gets a P5 to start this race. And I think Haas are that team that sort of get overlooked. They're bottom in the team championship. But Simon Weigand, is he going to feel like he's got a lot of pressure on his back to kind of deliver for his team?
Well, I don't know. I think in some ways the pressure's off him slightly, but it goes to our earlier point that there's just such fine margins between them all. And we've discussed this before, haven't we, Tom and Nick, about the Haas in the real world almost being a bit under the radar as well. And that, in some ways, does take the pressure off them. They've got the opportunity to deliver because there aren't that many people putting the pressure on them to deliver. I know that they'll want to, of course they will. Just a quick point on the Red Bull Ring. Of course, it was the venue of probably my highlight of the whole season earlier in the year when we kick-started the 2020 season, albeit very late in July, with Lando Norris with that podium, and he took the fastest lap to get on the podium. Do you remember it? I mean, it seems a lifetime ago now, but wasn't it brilliant? If we could see a bit more of that tonight, that would be great. So
good. Natalie, we'll catch up with you in a bit. Thank you very much. Nick, I know for a fact you will be back in Alvaro Carreton. See if he can hold on to that top spot. But right now, let's head over to the casters for some heavy metal F1. Alex Jakes, Matt Gallagher, looking forward to this one?
Definitely looking forward to this one, Tom. The reason why, it's another fantastic track, and we've got some very, very talented drivers about to go racing once again. Short lap 1, as a result, Matt Gallagher, going to be very, very important indeed.
Yeah, it is, definitely. This race is finely poised. You know, we've got both the Red Bulls, you've got Jarno Opmeer as well, and then you've got Alvaro Carreton just popping himself on pole position. A little bit of an unexpected one from the quali show earlier this afternoon. Very excited to see how this unfolds. Strategy will be key. Who will go for the quicker strategy at the start, and who will go for the Jarno Opmeer strategy at the end?
Yeah, Alvaro Carreton, when we spoke to him in the qualifying show, a lot of talk about that qualifying show.
Big talk.
Do you remember the host? Yeah, okay. Alvaro Carreton talking about the fact that he was almost surprised he delivered a strong lap. He maybe expected the others to come up to his level. There are a lot of parts around this track, Matt, where you can be penalised for track limits.
Yeah, you have to be particularly precise, especially through turn 1, then going out the hairpin as well. There's so many places where they can extend. These drivers have put hours upon hours upon hours of practice in to really learn exactly where the track limits are, where they can maybe make a bit of an advantage. But right now, I think that this is one of the tracks, as Joni Tormula mentioned, is very difficult to get right.
Well, let's find out who's going to get it right. The 5 red lights go out in Austria, and we are racing once again in the Pro Series. That is the sort of getaway that Alvaro Carreton would have been dreaming. A backwards move for Jarno Opmeer because Marcel Kiefer improves to P2. It's about to get worse for the championship leader because here comes Freddie Rasmussen up to 3rd position, and now Nicolas Longuet trying to go all the way around the outside, and he does so. So the top 4 find themselves on that Red Bull soft tyre, and at the start it's not the tyre to be on for Jarno Opmeer, who's heading backwards, now under pressure from Simon Weigang, but it's Alvaro Carreton with the getaway that he needed, and he hangs on to the lead from pole.
Yeah, Opmeer went for the medium strategy, as we've seen so many times already this season, and so slow on this opening lap is Jarno Opmeer, down to 5th place. Carreton, Kiefer, Rasmussen and Longuet all on the aggressive attacking strategy at the start. They'll look to work together to really push in these opening laps. 25 laps, as it's quite a short lap time around here. We're probably looking in the 1-minute 5s with race fuel, but this is very interesting. Carreton holds on to the lead, the nerves, the shaky legs, he's managed to keep it together, and he continues at the front of the field.
So the front of the field, all on the soft tyre then, and all getting past Jarno Opmeer, who had what he might have expected. He's on the same strategy as Simon Weigang. Weigang, the top draft pick in the championship this year, finds himself with the American team, finds himself with the championship leader directly ahead on the same strategy. Brendan Lee in 7th, David Tanitsa is the driver in 8th place, the driver that we're with right now in the FDA entry, and Danny Berezne is the driver behind, with Danny Moreno trying to score points once again after that personal best that he had last time out. We've been talking about the strategy and how it might work out. Here's some options for you. If you started on the soft tyre, and if you've gone for the medium, you're obviously going to be doing a longer stint at the start. Everyone very well behaved after the initial flurry of laps. This is definitely a circuit to see the flag in, because if you get the strategy right, if you work hard at this point, there are easy overtaking opportunities around this racetrack.
There absolutely is. I think in terms of the strategy, we'll see mainly softs and mediums. I'd imagine hard tyres have gone onto Joni Tormula's car because he pits at the end of lap 1, so his point streak may be coming to an end here this evening. It's this afternoon because it looks light, but it is actually this evening where we are. But Joni Tormula really struggling, clearly had some sort of contact and needed a front wing replacement. Alvaro Carreton still in the lead of this race, lap 3 of 25, DRS is going to be activated, and this is where the 2 Red Bulls are looking very feisty.
And we've already heard these two talking about working together earlier this year. They believed that doing that at Zandvoort was the key to unlocking victory for Freddie Rasmussen, who needed that, got up and running in the Pro Series in 2020. He has been there and done it, unlike our race leader, who is trying to take his maiden victory in the championship today.
Jarno Opmeer, P5, really struggling on those mediums, 2 seconds behind Nicolas Longuet as it stands, and he's a bit of a wedge at the moment with Weigang, Lee, Tanitsa and Berezne all very close behind. I'd imagine some of those are on the soft tyres as well, because they are right behind the Alfa Romeo. And let's have a look, Danny Berezne in 9th position. He's going to want to make up a few positions as well. But right now, Red Bull looking very strong indeed. P2 and P3, they've all got DRS. Alvaro Carreton, we saw it in Zandvoort, where Freddie Rasmussen almost let Jarno Opmeer through to be able to save his energy, and then he deployed the ERS. He let absolutely every part of his battery go to overtake at the end of the race. I'd imagine the 2 Red Bulls are using that to a similar degree right now, using Carreton as the person to just push in that Williams.
Checking in with the championship leader, a 4-time race winner in the championship. 3 of those wins have come this year. and he is looking in the mirrors at the moment. You can see 2.6 seconds away. That's because of the tyre that he's on. But he's got Simon Weigang right there. And sometimes you start in the middle of the pack, you have a difficult first lap, and you know realistically there might not be a chance to progress. But Simon Weigang knows that if he can stay with Opmeer, he's going to have an opportunity on that strategy. They will come back into play later on. Very tight battle for the lead out front right now with Alvaro Caraton, who had a good run in the exhibition races that we had earlier in the year when he was on the podium a couple of times, a third in China, a second in Brazil. He has scored a podium finish in the real thing, in the championship as well, but this is the one that he wants. He wants that first win. The problem for him is that he's got one of the very best in the business directly behind him. Marcel Kiefer and Freddie Rasmussen are not what you want to see in your mirrors, especially when you've got Jarno Opmeer on that alternative strategy. Now with DRS, under the most pressure he's been under all race long. Only 5 laps, but we've only got 25 overall. The race is extended this year, puts a little bit more pressure on. And of course, Matt, we've seen so many races decided on the penultimate or last lap as we run the 6th race of this championship.
And that's the beauty of the strategy, isn't it? We've got these 4 absolutely bolting at the start of this race. Lap 5, and they have cleared Jarno Opmeer. I'd be surprised if Jarno can even see this quartet that's completely flying away at the moment. I don't know if Opmeer's just driving a little bit slower than he usually is, or there is a bigger discrepancy between the softs and the mediums around this track, because it's a short lap time. You'd expect Jarno to maybe be a little bit closer to this front 4, so perhaps, I mean, I say this, and Jarno will probably be 3 seconds a lap quicker by the end of this race. But it is interesting, as actually very close is Marcel Kiefer.
He is indeed. Is this the moment for the lead to change? No, he's going to bide his time. It's the great thing about this circuit as we go on board with the Red Bull driver, that you get another opportunity immediately as we go down the hill once again. Plunging to turn number 4, no need to take a risk, no need to scrub off time, run off line. He is very much, though, in the slipstream, in position.
Sorry, Alex, just very quickly, you can see with this onboard and that yellow bar, he has absolutely every bit of battery he could wish for. It's pretty much at 100% right now is Marcel's ERS, so he's not pushing. He's just relaxing at the moment, letting Alvaro do all the work in that Williams. And I imagine if we ride on board with Alvaro, he might have a slightly lower bar.
Good to see. We're checking in with the P2 man at the moment. Get a slight amount of understeer as he makes his way through the final corner on the racetrack. The track dips down before rising once again. And Caraton doing everything he needs to, but you can clearly see this is the closest that Kiefer has been for some time, and this time with DRS I think we're going to get a change in the battle for the lead. Yes, we are. Marcel Kiefer has the inside line and he takes it away. He won't be the only one. Immediately trying to pounce is Freddie Rasmussen, and it is now a Red Bull 1-2 as the Red Bulls scythe their way past 2 cars in 2 corners going past Alvaro Caraton, and Marcel Kiefer is the new race leader.
Notice 2 things there. Alvaro, of course, didn't have any DRS to defend. He got a little bit squeezed, Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen style, which I don't want to talk about, but...
It's all right. It's been a while.
It has. But Alvaro just didn't have anything to defend, as well as the fact that Marcel Kiefer allowed Rasmussen to slipstream his way all the way down to that next downhill right-hander, so that allowed Rasmussen even more speed over Alvaro Caraton.
And Simon Weigang in 5th position, ahead of Jarno Opmeer,
on the same strategy.
On the same tyres. And it could be a day of days then for Simon Weigang, as we have the race leaders or the leading pack coming into the pits and pulling the trigger first of all. Freddie Rasmussen, who was running in P2, and very, very close indeed. They come out as they were. So coming into the pits and now to the back of the field, having made their stop. Freddie Rasmussen ahead of Alvaro Caraton. Nicolas Longuet in on lap number 8. Marcel Kiefer will surely have to respond on the next tour.
So Simon Weigang is the leader of the alternate strategy, which is not something we've said so far this season. Simon driving incredibly well. He was saying on social media that he wants to give up F1 Esports. Well, take a look at this, Simon. You've got a very good opportunity of taking it to the leaders out in front, although Jarno Opmeer just doesn't seem like he's completely hooked up at the moment. We haven't seen it from him this season where he's fallen back on the alternate strategy. He's always been the one to lead the charge.
And now, here comes Brendan Lee in 4th position, 0.3 of a second away, looking more comfortable right now, and it's not a huge advantage for Simon Weigang, but it is an advantage. The race leader is into the pits, and we're going to get a direct comparison then. Was it better to go early? Was it better to go one lap longer? Marcel Kiefer exiting. Here are the cars that are battling, already on the medium tyres. It's Red Bull versus Red Bull as we go to the top of the hill, and Marcel Kiefer at the moment has track position. He comes out ahead of Rasmussen, Carreton and Longuet, and Marcel Kiefer, of those who started on the Red Bull soft tyres. He's in a great position, trying to reclaim a position that he lost a few moments ago, and on the outside, which could leave him vulnerable. Alvaro Carreton trying to improve to what would be a net P2, and right now he's risking that podium because in the wheel tracks, pulling alongside with DRS is the Renault, and it's side by side between the two of them behind, and Carreton just stays ahead.
Can you believe this is a battle for 16th, 17th, 18th and 19th at the moment? They're the only drivers to stop, as well as Joni Tourmala. Everyone else has carried on, and this is an intense battle at the moment. And I actually don't know which strategy is going to be stronger here, Alex. You've got Simon Weigang leading the charge on the mediums that are slightly older. These guys are all battling. If they don't continue to, if they continue to do this, that's going to play into the hands of Weigang, Otmir, Brendan Lee. He's the two-time champs in the challenge as well.
Yeah, very close out front. Simon Weigang in the lead of the race for Haas. It would mean a lot to that Haas team. But now Jarno Otmir has decided enough is enough. The gap got out to 0.6 of a second. That's acres for Jarno Otmir, and he's come back now. He has hauled him back in, and Brendan Lee trying to go with this pair. They've got an opportunity. They've got to make these tyres run slightly longer into the race. But Weigang in rarefied air right now, having questioned whether he was in the right place, whether he was doing the right thing. He's never been on the podium before, let alone winning a race. So he's in a great position right now for those on the alternative strategy. And Brendan Lee, after winning 2 championships in the inception years of F1 Esports Pro Series, now finds himself in contention, looking for a win in 2020.
Interestingly, we usually have a more even split between softs at the start and mediums at the start, but we have got, well, pretty much 15 drivers that have gone for the medium strategy, the Jarno Otmir strategy, as I've now coined it. And, well, maybe that is the quicker strategy. Has Kiefer, Rasmussen, Carreton and Longuet put themselves on the back foot by going for more aggressive track position strategy at the beginning of this race?
Let's go down the hill then with the battle for the lead at the moment. Not a lot of battling going on because you do not want to lose time scrapping over track position, when in reality all you are doing is racing the guys in 15th, 16th, 17th and 18th. But he's very, very close now, Jarno Otmir, to putting pressure on Simon Weigang. Maybe this is not the part of the racetrack that he can make the move. So now's a very good time indeed to check in with the man in P2. Simon Weigang into the pits on lap 11 on the medium tyre. That's a bit of a head scratcher.
He's gone for serious aggression, has Simon Weigang. That is, well, he's gone for pretty much what we saw David Tanitsa do at Canada. A really early pit stop. He's going to use the grip to his advantage and then maybe ail a little bit slower towards the end. But right now, well, that's a very aggressive strategy from Weigang. 5.2 seconds, 5.6 seconds behind Longuet. You'd imagine he's going to pretty much rock up to that pack pretty quickly.
Well, this is a racetrack where if you can get close, you can overtake. This is not a Zandvoort, this is not a Hungaroring, where you can get your elbows out and keep them behind for a while. So it'll be interesting to see whether that's the right call. Meanwhile, promoted to the lead, the championship leader, ahead on points, ahead on wins this season with 3. But he's looking to try and do what Brendan Lee has already done on 2 occasions and win the title in this strangest of years. And he comes in as well. So they're all going aggressive. Otmir and Lee coming in. And Otmir and Lee will now hope that they have done enough on this in lap to put pressure on the man that they were racing a few moments ago, Simon Weigang.
Yeah, Weigang's flying out there, so is Tanitsa. So you'd imagine on that softer compound, trying to pump in a brilliant outlap, because ideally for Weigang, he wants to be out of that 1 second DRS window to Otmir, who's in the pits at the moment. It'd be really interesting to see how close they are when they come out the pits.
So Marcel Kiefer, Freddie Rasmussen, right now ahead. Tome yet to stop, ahead of Longuet, who has managed to get past Alvaro Carreton. And and that could be for a podium later on as things stand, unless the alternative strategy is the right one. And Weigang did maintain track position over Jarno Opmeer and Brendan Lee, so that aggressive strategy to go early has paid off for now. Will it pay off when we get to lap number 25?
Crucially, Opmeer just about got DRS on the Haas driver. So important for Haas and Simon Weigang to score as many points as they possibly can. They've never won a Grand Prix in F1 Esports history. I believe 5th is their best result. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's 5th. And Simon Weigang right now has a really good opportunity to get to the top step of this podium, but he did make a mistake just before he pit with Opmeer, and that's probably the reason why he wasn't able to extend that gap a little bit further. You just know that Weigand's going to be feeling the pressure. He's not used to this, being right at the front of the field. This is your time to shine, Simon.
It is, and you were right, Matt. The best Haas have ever managed in Formula 1 Esports is 5th. They've got a chance to better that today, but Opmeer's got the better drive off the corner. He's not even waiting. He's making the move at turn 3, and Jarno Opmeer improves to 7th position as he tries to make that alternative strategy work. And now here's an opportunity for the Haas driver to try and come back immediately, but Opmeer once again is beginning to mount one of those traditional charges, and he stays ahead of the American team.
When you're looking at the battle for the actual race lead, Kiefer and Rasmussen are out ahead, and Longe 2 seconds crucially behind the 2 Red Bull drivers, with Caraton just behind. So it's gone from a 4-horse race on that strategy to just the 2 Red Bulls working together. They know exactly what they need to do to try and secure this 1-2, but they're going to have a charging Opmeer, Weigang, Lee, even Moreno is in this mix. This is so intriguing. 11 laps to go, make that 10. I don't know what's going to happen, Alex.
But they need to work together out front with Kiefer and Rasmussen. They've shown that they can do that already this year. But equally, if they're in that position late on, then it becomes every driver for themselves. The reason that Longe and Caraton have dropped back is that they are battling, just like they were coming out of the pits. Caraton held track position, then Longe fought back. Now Caraton back up to 3rd position. He wants another trip to the podium today.
Opmeer in the background just got ahead of Biancalila as well, up to P5. He's 2 seconds behind Longe. Look at the 2 Red Bulls. I think Rasmussen's going to be on the phone saying, let me through. I'm the quicker of the Red Bulls here, which has been a topic of debate for pretty much the entire season. Who is the #1 Red Bull driver? I don't think they'll care if they secure a 1-2, to be honest. But it looked like Freddie was all over the back of Kiefer, though a pretty mediocre middle sector for Rasmussen has gapped a little bit for Kiefer ahead. But Opmeer on an absolute charge. Next stop for him, next target, is Nicholas Longe.
His pace right now is absolutely awesome on that tyre. Nearly a second a lap faster than the drivers ahead of him. The only other driver who was in the 1-minute 4s was your race leader, Marcel Kiefer. Everyone else in the 1-minute 5s. And it then appears that you've got Opmeer 1-minute 4.1. Last time over line, Kiefer 1-minute 4.9. That gives you an idea of how impressive Opmeer is proving once again in a championship that he is making his own. But theoretical speed is one thing. He's still got to finish the job. He's still got to make clean passes, but he does appear to have the speed right now to challenge those, not just ahead, but at the front.
It's just becoming a trend, isn't it? Opmeer coming through the field on the faster tyre towards the end of the race. He's 6/10 behind Longe. This is crucial that he needs to dispatch of Nicholas Longe and Alvaro Caraton.
So Marcel Kiefer out front, his teammate directly behind. They will work together as much as they can, but what can you do when the other car that you are racing, not the 3rd place man, not the 4th place man, the 5th place man now, with the tyre advantage, with the faster car, with the team that have called the strategy perfectly all year, and with already with 3 wins, trying to make it 4 in the season alone, trying to line up another one right now, and he is trying to get past Nicholas Longe. So let's track this battle, because it's so important how quickly Opmeer can make these moves. If he's going to win the race here, can he make the move? No, because he's coming up against a driver. A little bit of a lock up there, but he's coming up against a driver with DRS, and that is helping the Renault defend. But for how much longer? As we go down the hill, is Longe going to be able to stay ahead? Every single time Longe is able to stay ahead, it helps the Red Bulls out front, and he's going to try and go all the way around the outside.
What a move.
Fantastic stuff there from Opmeer, who's up to 4th. Let's check in with the drivers in front, though. Let's hear from Marcel Kiefer.
We might be able to switch back and forth, like on the DRS rate. I put it in lean. Oh, I don't know if that's worth it.
You've gained 2 tenths on him already.
Team chat.
Yeah, that's Kiefer thinking about, do they need to do it? And I would say they absolutely need to do it, because the man in fourth looks like he's definitely got the speed to improve to third position. He's got the driver who started on pole directly ahead, but he's just got more confidence, he's just got more grip, he's got the softer tyre. Will he have third position? Here comes Jarno Opmeer getting to third, and he's got every possibility now of turning another podium into another race win.
He makes it look so easy, does Jarno Opmeer. Alvaro Carreton does have the DRS, but just doesn't have the purchase out of the hairpin. 2 seconds behind Freddie Rasmussen is the Alfa Romeo driver. He won't have this pace for the entire race. He needs to utilise it right now, close up to the Red Bulls, get track position, and then try to hold on.
Well, the Red Bulls have been running in formation. They've been talking about tactics. They've been debating what to do. What can you do when the driver in third is very nearly 0.8 of a second a lap faster than you are? They went for a different strategy. It doesn't appear to have been the right one. Jarno Opmeer just loves that direction. Start on the harder tyre, on the heavy fuel, go on the attack, on the softer tyre. He is working that one to perfection this year. His teammate in 7th position has got prestige, he's got the wins, but this year he's looking very, very strong for Jarno Opmeer. He's 1.4 seconds away, but he will be getting through those tyres in the next few laps. He's definitely used the peak performance brilliantly, and he's just got 2 Red Bulls between him and win number 4 this year in F1 Esports.
Kiefer 105.4, Rasmussen 105.6, Opmeer 104.8. He is absolutely gobbling up the time right now. 1.4 seconds behind Rasmussen. He's closing in. Don't know why I used the word gobble, but there you go. You know exactly what I mean. Jarno closing in, almost within DRS range, but it's not going to be easy. Freddie Rasmussen will have DRS to defend. Those 2 Red Bulls know how crucial it is to keep Jarno behind.
Where's the lead gone for the Red Bulls, Matt? Where's it gone? He has scythed into it lap after lap, and he has got himself in the box seat. For so many of the races this year, it's been on a knife edge. It could have gone one way or the other. Red Bull right now will hope that their drivers have something in reserve, because right now it appears that they have no answer to the hard-charging Jarno Opmeer. He makes it difficult for himself at the start because he runs a harder tyre, which gives him less traction off the line. It saw him absolutely swallowed by the field on the opening lap, but then after that, it was all about the charge back through. He trusts his team a lot. He's working with them brilliantly. He's putting together another super drive. Red Bull just trying to fight back now. The gap is a second. He's very nearly in Freddie Rasmussen's DRS.
I think we'll be able to hear from Jarno Opmeer and the team to see exactly what they are saying over team radio.
So Red Bulls are swapping back and forth. Expect a pretty tough fight with ERS.
There you go. So they are exchanging blows rather than Kiefer just taking the whole charge out of his system, allowing Freddie to pretty much save what he did, just like he did in Zandvoort. They're exchanging, making sure that both of their ERS is charged as much as they physically can, so they can try and hold on. The charging Jarno Opmeer, he is flying another 104.8. The other 2 are in the low 1-minute 5s. This is going to come down to the wire. Simon Weigang has got through on Nicholas Longate up to P5, but he's dropped off the back of Jarno. He's not in this fight for the podiums just yet.
Opmeer right now, his pace has returned, so searing pace after the pit stop, and now it is much closer to the Red Bulls. So the Red Bulls trying to respond, but there is still half a second a lap when he's running in clear air, but Opmeer at the moment doing the job, and he is very, very close then. Carreton trying to hang on to his coattails right now. He's the 4th place car. He would be happy with that result. It would be a big step forward. It would be equaling a team personal best for Simon Weigang in 5th place. And Opmeer now, for the first time, has a chance to line up Freddie Rasmussen. These 2 put on a brilliant race at Zandvoort.
There's the battery. You see how Freddie, even though they both have DRS, Freddie just eked out that advantage. This is where they have to be able to defend. As long as Jarno isn't this close and going to have an opportunity to send one up the inside, these 2 can work together very beautifully.
You can see Opmeer having the pace. One thing to catch, another thing to pass. We're going to find out whether Jarno Opmeer can do that. He's taken the best of the soft tyre rubber and dispatched it round every single corner of the racetrack as he tries to hunt down these Red Bulls. Let's check in with the team with a 1-2 at the moment. So Kiefer hanging on to the lead. Rasmussen in second position. Otmir now 0.2 of a second away. So what sort of defence can Rasmussen offer up and try and allow his teammate to scamper clear? That surely is the only opportunity. Looked like they had a good exit out of turn number 1. That really defines whether you can get past. What sort of exit does the second place driver have here? Rasmussen, yeah, great drive off the corner. Will it be enough? He's definitely got DRS at this stage, and you can see that Otmir is not able to get close. Will he improve under braking? He will. Has to wait to get on with it. Keep it slightly wide there. That won't help the Red Bull charge at all. But Otmir has had his momentum checked by the leading pair. He is running out of laps. And Freddie Rasmussen right now having to contend his team role, because that's where the prize money is paid out for, with the fact that he wants to win this race and make it 2 wins out of the last 3.
Red Bull are playing this perfectly at the moment. You can see where the energy deployment is for Freddie Rasmussen down the straights, being able to completely and utterly defend from Otmir. And Kiefer is clearly using his energy in this middle and last sector, be able to extend the gap to Rasmussen just like this. Rasmussen's in energy saving mode, then he has DRS, then he goes full beans on the battery deployment so he can defend from Otmir.
So Freddie Rasmussen using those tactics really nicely. Red Bull, who are the nearest rivals to Alfa Romeo, are going very nicely at the moment. Are they going to be able to hang on to it? Otmir, who had just so much more pace, and, well, he's not able to do anything with it at the moment. Remember, the pace when he was catching these two, absolutely extraordinary. At one point, he was a second a lap faster, and now he's taken the best of those tyres. And Red Bull, if they continue to work together, have formed a wall in front of this man. But lockups like that tell you that it's not a done deal. Somehow, we're about to go on the final lap of the race. It looked like it was a done deal for Jarno Otmir. We have seen that old adage coming true once again. Catching is one thing, passing is another, and the Red Bull wall is holding firm. But will it hold firm all the way to lap number 25? Because Otmir is closing up as they get to the Jochen curve. He is very, very close. There'll be the wake of the Red Bull that he has to deal with the dirty air. We're going on to the final lap. Otmir has the right tyre on. He's got the pace, but he's not been able to use it up against the Red Bulls. And you can see that once again, just like the last few laps, it's a perfect exit for Freddie Rasmussen, who has done his team job brilliantly. And Red Bull, despite that pace deficit, have every opportunity. And will Rasmussen say, okay, job done there. Can I launch a battle and go from the team player to winning this one? 0.3 of a second for the battle of the lead out front. Marcel Kiefer, he's close, he's got it at the moment. Here comes Freddie Rasmussen. Is he going to try and launch an attack? No, he's not. He's going to defend, though, from the second place man. And this has been team tactics played to perfection from Red Bull.
This is the greatest example of teamwork I have ever seen in the F1 Esports Pro Series. This has been executed perfectly by Kiefer and Rasmussen, and they deserve this one too. It has been a brilliant display. Jarno Otmir has been all over them, but he just can't get through.
Jarno Otmir had the pace, Red Bull had the tactics, and it's Marcel Kiefer who hangs on to win in Austria. A superbly played race for Red Bull, who have taken victory. Freddie Rasmussen in second, and third was Jarno Otmir. But look at what it means to him. He's usually cool and calm and collected, but he made that one work, and he has won a quite brilliant race.
But if you want an example as to how two teammates working together can benefit rather than just the sole Alfa Romeo, there it is. There's the Aramco driver of the day. Lucas Blakely I gave it to because he started 12th on the grid, got into the points. I think it's a very solid drive from Lucas. It could have been Simon Weigand, but unfortunately he fell off a little bit. But in terms of how the teammates can work together, that was a beautiful display of it. And Jarno, he had the pace, as you say, Alex, but will he just be a little bit irritated that Danny Beresne wasn't there with him?
Well, that is the question. That is the only way that Alfa Romeo could be having a better time of it. And that defensive work from Freddie Rasmussen, getting himself back into contention. He's had a good run, but not as good as this man. He has done the job, and he has won the race quite brilliantly in Austria.
Beautiful stuff there. I'm trying to calm down from that race. Excellently commentated on by Alex Jakes and Matt Gallagher. What did you make of that, Nick? First thoughts on that?
I couldn't believe how professional those guys were. The teamwork Red Bull played was incredible, using their battery to full effect, really helping each other defend from the charging Jarno Opmeer.
Yeah, I mean, and we mentioned it before, that is the 4th time in the F1 Esports Series where we've had a 1 and 2 in the same team. Normally, the other times, 3 other times, were Danny Berezny, but now it was a masterclass, wasn't it? And they even discussed, shall we DRS, we use that, should we overtake, should we try and defend? But Rasmussen did a fantastic job trying to keep Jarno Opmeer from getting second or even first.
Yeah, and Opmeer, he struggled first lap, didn't he, on his medium tyres. He was really tentative into turn 2, lost a lot of ground, and it was almost like, where's he gone? What's happened to him? And then all of a sudden, he put that soft tyre on, and he came scything through the field, and as Matt said, gobbled up the lead of Red Bull's.
Yeah.
Incredible race.
Yeah, listen, I've had some favourite phrases of 2020, but gobbled up the places is definitely #1 at the moment. I want to talk a little bit more about the Red Bull. Jarno Opmeer's strategy has been start on the mediums, get to the softs, and work your way up, gobble up those places. But what was the difference between Rasmussen and Kiefer working together to prevent Jarno?
Yeah, I mean, Red Bull have always used their strategy really well. They haven't really been aggressive as such. They've just got on with the job, been really consistent. You can see these guys working together, you know, through team radio. They're really communicating well, and it was pretty much perfect for the whole team, because you had Kiefer there leading, which is really difficult for him because he, you know, leading the pack, it's harder to lead than it is to follow. But Rasmussen was there, you know, as a rear gunner and really helped that full cause.
And it's funny because I said to you when we were at the touchscreen, are they going to battle each other? Because they were both on 71 points in the Drivers' Championship, but no, they're all about that team championship. That's where the $750,000 prize pool is. And it's nice in a way to see that, because I think the only example I've seen of that in real life F1 is Lewis and Valtteri Bottas. But they compete with each other, but it's all about the team in F1 Esports.
Yeah, and they know together they're stronger, especially when you've got someone like Jarno Opmeer, you know, breathing down your neck. And as long as both drivers are at the sharp end of the field, they don't really have anything else to prove other than just getting points for the team. So yeah, I was so blown away by how professional it was. I couldn't believe the strategy they were playing with the batteries and all this sort of stuff. And even Alfa Romeo said to Jarno Opmeer, you know, you're going to be in a battle where it's all about ERS management.
Okay, I'm going to look like a news presenter while I gather my notes. We will talk to the winner of that race, Mr. Marcel Kiefer, and we'll take a look back at all of this and more when we return. We'll see you in a few moments. Welcome back to the F1 Esports Pro Series presented by Aramco. You join myself, Tariq, and Mr. Nick Hamilton on the desk. We've just witnessed a thrilling race. We saw beautiful teamwork. We saw the charge from Jarno Opmeer, not able to succeed in a usual plan that seems to work for him. At lap 1, he got overtaken down to 5th in his position. He started in 2nd, and I think he had a lot to do to get back into the race.
Yeah, I thought he was thinking about championship. He basically went 3 abreast into turn 2. And it was almost like, well, you know, I got to think about the championship here. He broke early and made sure that he didn't get tagged or, you know, damage his front wing. But it gave him a lot of work to do on his medium tyre, which we're used to seeing him leading from the front and controlling the pace of the race, using that medium tyre, going longer. And then when it comes to using his softer tyre, he's in the hot seat.
Yeah, I felt for Alvaro Carreton because he was in P1 and it just felt like there was just a massive charge behind him and he just had to try and hold on, but a masterful race from Red Bull to really catch up with him. There was the overtake on Alvaro Carreton. What did you make of this moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think Carreton did a really good job. You know, he's put himself P1. It's a position he hasn't found himself in before. And he's got all these drivers that are used to being here, breathing down his neck. And he didn't make a single mistake. You know, he just carried on, did his own race, drove really, really well. You can see using the DRS as we ride on board with Keitha, and going later and deeper on the brakes, really, really clinical move. And you can see Rasmussen following him through as well, which is really key for Red Bull as a team.
Yeah, it seemed to definitely set up Marcel Kiefer at that moment for the win. That was the overtake that really just set him up, and he just had to see it out with his teammate.
Yeah, easier said than done, right? Especially when you got these drivers, the caliber that we're talking about is incredible. I say they're aliens. They made no mistake all the way down the field. Was incredible. Yeah, I was so impressed by them. You know, I can't take my hat off to them enough.
Yeah, now I mentioned it before the race. Watch out for Simon Weigang. What did you make of his race? Because getting some points for Haas, we know they're right down at the bottom of the team championship. I was impressed with his drive, but it seemed he couldn't just keep up with the pace with Opmeer. Once Opmeer's overtaken you, it's hard to catch up with him.
Yeah, it was almost like once Opmeer put on the soft tyres, he came into a different league. Simon Weigang, I think as a whole event in terms of qualifying for Austria and the race, he's done a really, really good job. So I think he should, you know, go home, and he's already at home.
But go home again.
Go home again,
Yeah.
have a look. Have a look and be proud of what he's done because he's shown that he can definitely be in the mix.
Yeah, now a driver that hasn't been that well, been under the weather, so to speak, and was telling us 12-hour days. That man is Marcel Kiefer, and he is your race winner with us right now. Marcel, an absolute delight to chat to you. What a race. How are you feeling right now, and what a strategy from Red Bull?
Do you hear me, first of all?
Oh, I hear you loud and clear, Marcel.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what to say. It was just perfect teamwork. Yeah, that's it. I don't know what else to say. I mean, yesterday wasn't the best day for me personally. And today it turned around. And also with the teamwork with Freddy, it worked out brilliant. So everything was planned from lap 1. And it did work out. I think we managed it quite well.
Yeah, there was, we just spoke about it, Nick and I, about that 3 wide. It just seemed like as soon as you had those 5 red lights went out, you were like, right, I know exactly what I have to do. And you stuck to that plan. It looked easy, Marcel.
It wasn't at all. It wasn't at all. It was actually really hard to pull it off because Jarno still had a massive pace advantage, and we knew that. So what we did is let Freddy create a gap in the middle sector, so he can technically catch up to me, but Jarno is behind, has also the DRS, and if he has to push with ERS, he's not overtaking me. In the end, also Freddy would have won. We just said, okay, we will try to maximize points, so he had more energy charge, so it would have been easy for Freddy to just send it down the inside, but we just wanted to bring back that 1-2. It was important to get ahead in the team championship. So yeah, and in the future, if any of these occasions happen again, I also will let Freddy through. We have one goal, and that is the team championship. We were champions last year, and we want to be champions again this year.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way, Marcel. Both on 71 points going in to the 3rd race of Event 2. third place finish in Zandvoort for you, third place finish in Canada, always on the podium. What does it feel like? Is there a difference in you that you are the actual winner of this Grand Prix?
No, not really. I think I just made a huge step up with the Red Bull family. I mean, I switched over from my old team to Red Bull, and with the support and well, all the kinds of stuff that I get from their partners and Red Bull themselves, I think it's pretty obvious to see that my performance already accelerated, that I can keep up with a guy like Freddy, who is probably the fastest driver in the world, if we have to be honest. Like, over one lap, no one beats Freddy. So yeah, I think it shows that these kind of changes and investments from teams work out.
All right, well, listen, Marcel, I look forward to seeing your tweets after this race with a few emojis. Marcel, a pleasure, and congratulations on your win. There you go, Marcel Kiefer. Very, very humble. Love to see that. Let's have a look at the DHL fastest lap then. And it went to that man there who, unfortunately, in every other race was in the points. This is his first race not in the points, but there you go, a consolation in some way for the DHL fast lap for Joni Tormner. We're going to take a quick break, but we will be looking back on the talking points of Event 2 and also answer some of your questions when we return. We will also pay a visit to the headquarters of the team leading the championship at the moment. That's Alfa Romeo, to see how they are coping with the COVID restrictions this season. Welcome back to the final part of our show this evening. Jarno Opmeer and Alfa Romeo are currently leading both championship, but like everyone else, they have been forced to operate under very different circumstances than they were expecting this season, with main drivers Jarno Opmeer and Danny Berezny racing from their homes, whilst the team has been run from London. And yesterday, they let us in to have a look at how they manage it.
My name is James Doherty. I'm the F1 Esports Manager of Alfa Romeo Racing Orlan. Yeah, this year has been a very unique set of circumstances. I think the biggest challenge for us is not having our drivers with us. Morning boys, how's it going? So yeah, we've got Zandvoort first, followed by Canada, and then yeah, we've got Austria tomorrow.
I'm Jamie McLaurin, the Team Director at Alfa Romeo Racing Orlan Esports team. The challenge for most teams will be sort of to keep their drivers at their peak performance all the time. Obviously, you know, they're all at home. From a management perspective, I think, you know, it's just that sort of person-to-person contact which really does change the dynamic of our sort of relationships.
What's up, Jarno? Yeah, what I miss about not the team being together in that kind of environment is just being able to feel having more of an impact on the players themselves, being physically in person. I think that definitely creates a bit more of a vibe and a different atmosphere, whereas everything online, it's much harder to really control that.
So James, we've known for a long time. We brought him on board this year from Renault, and he's really taken our performance to the next level.
Jarno Opmeer wins the opening race of the year.
Yeah, the early rounds were absolutely fantastic for us.
Jarno Opmeer wins in China. That was brilliant stuff.
All the hard work definitely showed off in the first events, but I think you can see by the caliber of this field that you can't take that for granted.
Here are the 5 red lights. They go out very quickly indeed.
That's got a good start. I think Red Bull, they have 2 absolutely fantastic drivers, or Frederick Rasmussen and Marcel Kiefer. He's going for it, Jarno. Jarno's going for it. He's got the lead. They're the team that can be quite close to us on consistency and pace as well.
Just hang in there, mate.
The battle we had with Jarno and Rasmussen, then I think the 2 powerhouses at the front. Yeah, I think the battle will go to the very end, and I know a lot of people want that. I don't necessarily want that, but yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. But I think anything short of a championship, I think we would probably be disappointed with, but we know there's a lot of things that have to go your way. As long as we can show the performances that warrant a championship, I think we can be proud of ourselves. But I think at the end of the day, the only result we want is to win the championship, absolutely.
Good job, boys. There's nothing really could have done much than that.
Absolutely fascinating stuff there. Just the dedication, the commitment, the structure, the infrastructure that goes behind these teams. We just see them racing, but there's so much more that goes into it, isn't there?
Honestly, watching that, I was so impressed. I couldn't believe what goes on to putting on this show and making sure the team works at the best level it can. It's so important, and they do a great job.
Yeah, optimum level and the consistency. Having a team like that makes it a little bit easier in some respects. However, I want to talk a little bit more about that Red Bull performance just now. I know that we're going to be joined by Natalie Pinkham, who's going to come back and join us. Natalie, are you there?
Sure am.
Oh, fantastic.
That was good, wasn't it? Enjoyed that.
So good. A 1-2 finish. That's only the 4th time that's ever happened in the F1 Esports Pro Series history. But what do you take from that performance from the Red Bull team?
Well, I have to say it was such a magnificent example of teamwork, and something that the team in real life racing have been longing for some time, because we know what a talent Max Verstappen is. We know that he needs a rear gunner, and he hasn't really had one, in fairness, since Daniel Ricciardo left the team. So they've been looking for a number 2 that can just work with him, and until you get that in racing, you can't really take on the likes of Mercedes or Ferrari with any real sort of substance, because you've got your teammate kind of languishing down further the field. And yeah, they'll be looking at that and thinking, yeah, we can learn a lot from this. Now, I know it's an interesting point that Marcel made, which was we have 1 goal. And how refreshing to hear that. I mean, what a lovely guy he is. Very calm, very confident. And they have that shared goal of winning that £750,000. Obviously, there's going to be more competition between 2 teammates in Formula One. It's the only person that you can be realistically measured against. There's always going to be a huge amount of competition. But as you touched on earlier, we have seen Valtteri Bottas do that for Lewis. Reluctantly maybe at times, but they are a great team and they do deliver, and that's what Red Bull in the real world need, and they could certainly be taking notes from the example that these boys set tonight.
Definitely. Even I heard the interview with Christian Horner where he said you need that second driver to get on board with the whole idea, and hopefully that happens in a real life racing. Natalie, is there anything else you took from that race heading around Austria? I mean, it was exciting from beginning to end, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. And I was interested with Opmeer's strategy. As you say, we've seen it before. We've seen it work for him before, starting on the harder tyres and then coming through the field. He seems to really enjoy himself that way, and it's thrilling for us to watch. But yeah, they blocked him. They defended so well. Again, you know, hats off to that teamwork. I know we're waxing lyrical about it, but that's what it's all about. And this was a perfect example of it today. But fair play to everyone on the podium today. It was a great race. And very fair racing.
Very fair. That is the word I was looking for, Natalie. Very fair racing. Would you agree with that, Nick? Fair racing.
How calm are they on team radio? How calm are they? I couldn't get over how chilled out they all are.
Very chilled. But I think because they have that strategy, like Marcel said, they've got a clear one goal. We know what we're doing. There's no need to get animated. But I don't know about you now. I couldn't stay that calm.
No. I don't think either you or I could ever stay that calm. Someone who is very calm is Nicholas Houghton. Can you stop being so good at the desk, please? I want my job back next week.
Honestly,
it's going well for me tonight.
I'm shaking inside, honestly.
You're brilliant.
I want to ask you guys, Nick, from your experience, and Natalie, being down there at the circuit when possible. A tweet came in from Daniel Botticelli, who says, pole position in a hashtag F1 Esports in Austria, 1 minute 0.1 second. Pole position in F1 in real life racing in Austria, 1 minute 0.2 seconds. That is so close. Like it's faster in the F1 esports world. That just shows how good they are. What do you take from that stat?
Firstly, how good they are. Secondly, how accurate the game is. Also, to have that short of a distance from real life to the virtual world. But these drivers, honestly, to get the lap times that they get and to do it consistently, I honestly thought when I was watching that race just now, it was like watching real life and how the strategies played out. It was unbelievable, so impressive.
And what about you, Natalie?
It's so true. Yeah, it's so true. We were watching it yesterday and my husband walked past and went, hang on a minute, what race are we watching? I was like, no. This is esports. He couldn't believe it. I'm totally with you, Nick. It's so impressive.
Okay, let's have a look then, guys, what this does for the standings. I'm intrigued to know, that means Jarno Opmeer's lead at the top. He had 108 points coming into this, and it's been cut down a little bit there. 123 points now. Congratulations to Jarno Opmeer. Event 2 done and dusted. And he can sit pretty at the top. Marcel Kiefer and Freddie Rasmussen just behind. I really wanted to ask Marcel, and I told you, Nick, this. I was like, so who is the #1 driver at Red Bull? But I didn't ask it because, you know, I enjoy our good relationship that we have. As you can see there, down there, down to the 20th position, 2 points there for Daniel Hadid. James Baldwin didn't race tonight. He just said how competitive it is. It's ultra competitive in the F1 esports, and it's super hard. But looking at the team championships, what do you take from that, Nick?
It's great to see Red Bull overtake Alfa Romeo to take the lead. That's incredible stuff, and yeah, Renault doing a good job in P3. AlphaTauri will be disappointed with their result so far this evening, but there's still all to play for.
Yeah, and down there at the bottom, 12 points now for Haas, 15 for Racing Point. Haas have never finished higher than that bottom spot. I'm rooting for them this year. Listen, let's have a look forward to Event 3, and I am very excited about this, as I'm sure you guys are as well. Event 3, 18th and 19th of November, we will be at the United Kingdom circuit, Belgium and Italy, Silverstone, Spa and Imola. Very excited. Which ones out of those are you most looking forward to, Nick?
I'm going to say all three. They're honestly fantastic circuits, aren't they? So much can go on, so much can happen, so much drama, especially Eau Rouge. Then you got Cops in the UK, and Italy with the Tifosi, obviously not going to be there in real life, but what a fantastic couple of 3 circuits we have coming up.
And I'm going to point to you, Natalie. What are we saying? What are you saying? When hopefully you'll be back here at the Gfinity Arena getting ready for Event 3. Which one are you looking forward to there?
Oh, it has to be Silverstone, my home race. I was born and brought up in Northamptonshire. It was my first ever experience of Formula One, was going to Silverstone as an 8-year-old girl with my brother and dad. And I love it as a track. It's fast and furious. It has the quickest combination of corners in Formula One. I know it's one that all the drivers love as well. So yeah, I can't wait to see that. And obviously it was great to get there this year. Without the fans, it was kind of surreal. I know that your brother Lewis mentioned it loads of times, but it was so weird to go to Silverstone without the fans, because it's this like airfield with just this huge expanse, but with no one in it. But we still saw some great racings, and I'm sure we'll see that this time out as well.
Very, very diplomatic of you, and I enjoyed that little insight into your world, Natalie. Listen, take care until then. I can't wait to get you back down here at the Gfinity Arena. Thank you very much, Natalie Pinkham, for today. Nick Hamilton, you heard from Natalie. She wants her job and roll back on this desk. So listen, thank you very much to Nick as well. Qualifying for the 2021 Pro Series is now open. Head over to f1esports.com to find out how you can get involved. We will return for Event 3 just 2 weeks from now with action from 3 classic F1 circuits, Imola, Silverstone and Spa, beginning on the 16th of November. And you can catch every single minute of the action. Now, a man you heard earlier on in the commentary, Matt Gallagher, will be back with live qualifying across both days. You can watch that by heading to f1esports.com. Then at 7:30 p.m. GMT, I'll be back to bring you all of the live racing. Thank you once again to Natalie, to Nick, to Alex and to Matt, and for this evening, and of course to you. We will see you again very soon. Bye.
With so much talent in this year's Pro Series, expect plenty of drama tonight.
Well, let's find out who's going to get it right. A Red Bull 1-2. Who hangs on to win in Austria? A superbly played race for Red Bull.